just gonna be a loser all night.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so time for laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network, and you are watching another episode of Sports Minute. I am Ace from the West Coast, and of course, tonight we're joined by none other than, that's right, he goes by J Mac and Cheese. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty dandy.
All right, and then, of course, we have Will, and he's like, oh, man, we got to do a top 5 on LA Rams, Mr. Will Polston.
All right, we're going to focus a lot on St. Louis Rams history on this one today. We might stick away from those LA people. We're gonna stick to where the Rams should truly be, and that's St. Louis.
Right. All right. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the Queen of the Quack Attack.
Queen of the Quack Attack.
We have, I'm not sure if she's a Charger. I'm not sure if she's a Seahawk. I'm not sure exactly what she is, and the Vic. So how's it going?
Oh, I'm a Charger. Don't you worry about it. I'm a Charger.
She's not a Titan.
I am not a Titan.
Not at all.
She's not a Titan. All right. So how's it going tonight?
It's going all right. It's been a fantastic day. A new start, a fresh beginning.
A fantastic day. All right.
Yes.
So before we go ahead and get started with our topics, of course, there's always a little bit of housekeeping we have to do. And so when it comes to that, we have our first one that we're going to jump into. So go ahead, Mr. Nate the Great there, and pull up a little bit of that Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry.
Roll it.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
God, get me feeling so good.
All right, feeling so good, right?
And warm right now.
That voice.
So
just looking in front of a warm fire, just feeling the heat.
So to go into that a little bit, Vic, so you actually ordered a couple things from Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. You actually made a couple orders.
Yeah, 2 orders. Yeah, so far. I'm not done yet. I'm just taking a break.
No, and it was fast. Like, it came just like that. It was there.
Yeah, within especially during the holidays, too. It came really fast. It was like 5 days, FedEx right to my porch. So it was super fast.
All right. And then, of course, the next one we have for you is that awesome Misty Meadows with that barbecue sauce and the jam and everything.
Misty
so delicious.
Meadows.
All right, Nate, go ahead and show us that awesome Misty Meadows. Right. So I have to know, who is in the mood for some of that bacon barbecue sauce?
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me more.
Bacon barbecue sauce. They have. So I got to know, how many of you would try bacon jelly if you had the chance?
Dude, you had me at bacon, and then you said jelly, and I'm still there. I haven't left.
I tried bacon asparagus right now if you gave it to me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't try asparagus bacon, but I would try some bacon asparagus.
Right? Okay. Definitely. All right. So of course, that next thing we got to talk about is those free T-shirts that you can win. Hey, Vic, why don't you go ahead and tell me, how can you win one of those free T-shirts?
Very easy. Just leave a comment. Comment on what we're talking about. Give us your feedback. You don't like our choice? Tell us why you don't like our choice. The more comments you make, the more chances you have to become the viewer of the month. And if you're the viewer of the month, you get a free T-shirt, any size you want, within reason. You can't get a tent, like a 28X. That's not possible. But, I mean, come on.
We should look into
it. Free. It's free. Come on. And it's swag. Everybody loves swag. So leave a comment. Talk about, when we're giving our speeches and rants and you don't agree, tell us why you don't agree. And we'll be more than happy to tell you to be quiet, because big people are talking right now.
I love it. I love it. All right, Vic. So tell me, besides hopping on and commenting to try and win one of those shirts, what can you do to get a shirt?
This is super easy. You can message any one of us on the network, and we will hook you up at $14.99 plus shipping and handling. I mean, come on. That's a good deal for a nice, sweet, slimming black T-shirt. I mean, come on. $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Where do I sign up? Let's go.
I love it. And there's actually a bunch of our analysts now that actually have their shirts now, and they are awesome. I love them. And I hope people out there continue to order them, because I'll tell you what, go out there, support us, and show off our awesome shirts, because they're great. I love them. Y'all love them. All right. So, of course,
there's one right here.
Oh,
right
look
here.
at that.
This
K-Mac
one could be
one.
yours. We're all sitting right here waiting to go out.
That's an awesome swag. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All
right. Let's get crazy here.
So we all know every week that we cover a top 5 list of the best quarterbacks for whatever team. And guess what? This week, we just happened to get the top 5 quarterbacks of the Rams. And I know
who's the goofy goof in the bottom right-hand corner.
I know without a doubt,
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And I know without a doubt that Will's been waiting for this list, because he could not wait to get to it, because I know how much he wants to put Jared Goff at number 1 on his list.
Personal favorite, let's be honest.
And we all know he wants to, because Jared Goff is his personal favorite. But you know what? We're going to save Will for close to last on this one. So, right. So with that one, we're going to go ahead. And J-Mac, go ahead and give us your top 5 for Rams quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, hey, I had fun with this one, actually. I'll tell you, the last couple of weeks I struggled a little bit, and I'm like, man, how am I going to find a top 5 for these teams? The Rams was actually quite fun looking through. They've had a couple handfuls of good guys to be there and actually run that team. So my guy at number 5 is Jim Everett. He was their quarterback for around 7 years. At one time, he was their all-time leading passer. When he left the team in 1994, he had 23,000 yards, and he had the second most touchdowns tossed. So he was 46-59, did not have a winning record, but did lead in playoffs twice. So 2 and 3 postseason record, must have been 3 times, excuse me, and lost in the conference title game in 1989. So that was number 5. Roman Gabriel was there 10 years back in 1962. And for the time, for 1962, he played really well. 62 quarterbacks weren't that big as far as the game. Not like now. We all know that's the premier position now. So, but did a fine job. He went 74, 39, and 6. So he had a great record for the team. And number 3, you have Bob Waterfield. 1945 to 1952. He is a Hall of Famer for them, and he won their first 2 titles. And of course, that was before the merger, so it was the NFL championship back then, and they had the AFL as well. But he did a great job when he led the league twice in passing yards or passing touchdowns, And he had the 7th most yards and 6th most touchdowns in franchise history still to this day. And think about that. And he hasn't played since 1952. So tells you how good he was when he did play for them. Number 2 is Norm Van Brocklin, 1949 to 1957. He won the 1951 NFL title. He was a 6-time Pro Bowler.
He was a duck.
Yes, he was. He was 40. Listen to this record: 42 wins, only 20 losses in his career with them. By the way, little known fact about Norm Van Brocklin: he still has the NFL record for the most yards in a single game, with 545.
Wow.
And he hasn't played since 1957.
Holy
So
cow.
think about that record. That record has stood forever. 545 yards in a game. It's crazy. And then Kurt Warner, of course, is number 1. I don't think anyone was questioning that. Took them, they won the Super Bowl. The greatest show on turf. Let's not forget that he's now in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what else to say about the guy. When they signed him, he was bagging groceries at the grocery store, had played in NFL Europe and the Arena League for the Iowa Barnstormers. Kurt Warner was obviously their best quarterback of all time.
All right. I like your list, J-Mac. I like your list. Interesting thing is, obviously, you have a few guys on your list that I have on mine. So, the Vic, go ahead and give us your top 5 list.
My top 5. Of course, number 5, I got the great Jim Everett. I mean, first round, number 3 pick, almost 25,000 yards. Played for a good 7-8 years. So yeah, I mean, he was the face of the Rams for quite a while. And when you think of Rams quarterbacks, 2 like pop out at you. It's Jim Everett and my number 1 who's coming up. Number 4, got a shocker for you. Are you ready? Mark Bulger. No, nobody's clapping for Mark Bulger. 9 years, West Virginia, 6th round pick. I mean, come on. Threw for almost 23,000 yards. Come on. At least Jared Goff's not on my list, so we'll go with that. Number 3, of course, I can't, Norm Van Brocklin, because he's a duck and he was good. And for all the reasons J-Mac and Cheese said, I mean, holds, 540 plus yards in one game. Nobody's beat that in today's football. I'm surprised that hasn't been touched because it's a throw happy game right now. So kudos to Mr. Norm. Norm. I like saying Norm. Number 2, Roman Gabriel. First round, number 2 pick back in 1962. Anybody know who Roman Gabriel is?
Yeah, he was on my list.
Yeah,
I almost replaced him with Ron Jaworski because I just like saying Jaws, but I didn't do it. And, of course, number 1, we got Mr. Kurt Warner. Greatest show on turf. I mean, the dude was bagging groceries and then took the team to a Super Bowl and won. He was undrafted, University of Northern Iowa. I mean, who even knew that was a college except for Kurt Warner? Just all-around great guy. And then, I love him. So, number 1, Kurt Warner. Have a great day. Kurt Warner's number 1. Jared Goff. You're not even on the list, Jared Goff.
Shocker, really.
Shocker, Jared Goff not on a second list. And I can tell you right now that we're getting into Will's list. I can almost guarantee you and tell you he's not on Will's list.
Oh, for me, Mr. Goof.
So Will Polston, go ahead and give us your top 5 list.
All righty. So Thank you, Vic, for taking my thunder with Mr. Mark Bulger. That is my number 5. Mark Bulger, a 2-time Pro Bowler, second all-time in passing yards, third all-time in passing touchdowns. His career was kind of shortened due to injury, off to a great start, but we saw him miss a lot of time whenever it came down to it. I think if you see him play a little bit more, he would have been able to get a little bit higher up in the ranks there, maybe even surpass Jim Everett. And actually, because of that, I don't actually have Jim Everett on my list. I don't have him in my top 5 at all. But number 4, I went with Norm Van Brocklin, Hall of Famer, 6-time Pro Bowler with the Rams. He never went below 500 in his whole entire tenure with the Rams. He went 500 or better every single year. He's an NFL champion. The only reason he's a little bit lower on this list is because in the NFL champion that he won in 51, he was not the starter and he only took 6 pass attempts, getting to the guy later on who took a little bit more of that workload. Number 3, I'm taking Roman Gabriel, 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, the 1969 NFL MVP. Third in team history in passing yards, first in passing touchdowns. The resume is there. The guy was absolutely outstanding in his time. Number 2, going with Bob Waterfield, also a Hall of Famer. J-Mac touched on him a little bit. 2-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 2-time NFL champion. Forgot to mention, though, he was also the team's kicker. Not only was he the quarterback, but he was also the team's kicker at the same time. And if you actually look on Pro Football Focus, he's actually listed as a kicker under their passing yard stats, but under a quarterback if you just look up his individual stat, which is really weird. I don't know what's up with that. But Bob Waterfield, Hall of Famer, great guy, great job at quarterback whenever he was there, 2-time NFL champion. And, of course, Kurt Warner at number 1, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 2-time MVP, a Super Bowl champion in 99, highest winning percentage of any Rams quarterback, known for the greatest show on turf, undrafted rookie, comes out. And in their first season, the Rams went from a 4-12 team to the first season that he starts as 13, going from 4-12 to 13-3 and winning the Super Bowl. That should kind of tell you the difference maker that Kurt Warner is, and that's why we're seeing him in the Hall of Fame today. So Kurt Warner, the obvious number 1 answer for me.
Wow. Well, I think when it comes to our top 5 list, every single one of us is going to have Kurt Warner on their top 5 as number 1. I mean, I don't know how you could really go any other way. There's just no other way to go with that. Pretty much everybody that you guys had said is pretty much in my top 5. The only thing that I changed up a little bit, and that was only because people were saying Jim Everett. We had a Mark Bulger. So the only reason why I'm like, you know what, I'm going to throw Vince Ferragamo in there. And the only reason that, yeah, absolutely. And so the only reason I'm throwing Vince Ferragamo in there at number 5 is he actually led them when he led them to the championship, or I should say the Super Bowl. They were actually 9-7 the year that they did it. So they were a wild card team. They had to come in. They ended up beating Dallas. They beat Tampa Bay. And then they go on to the Super Bowl. And do you know who they actually played in the Super Bowl? They actually ended up having to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, when they were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in that game, they actually had a lead. And then they ended up blowing the lead, and they ended up losing 31-19. But when you look at Vince Ferragamo's numbers when he was with the Rams, he had 70 touchdowns altogether. He was actually 26-18 as a starter. So, you know, decent. And then a quarterback rating of 74.8. He threw for 9,438 yards. And then even after the season that he took them to the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers and lost, he actually took them back to the playoffs again. And then Will would actually know this one. He actually threw for 509 yards in a game against your Chicago Bears. And at the time, it was the second most all-time in a game, other than, you know, Norm Van Brocklin that we have already touched about. And so number 4, everybody else had them on their list, I think, except I don't remember if Vic did or not, but it was Bob Waterfield. I don't remember if Bob – nope. So Vic did not have Bob Waterfield on her list. I had Bob Waterfield on my list. So he threw for 97 touchdowns in his entire career. But with 97 touchdowns he threw, you got to think that wasn't an era to where it wasn't really a whole lot of passing going on, because that was back in the 40s. So when you talk about 97 touchdowns back in the 40s, that's pretty impressive. So how could you not put him on the list? And what I liked about Bob Waterfield, if everybody remembers, was that when Bob Waterfield was in college, does everybody remember where he went to college?
I mean, yeah, I remember
then?
because I was watching him on TV then, but
No.
I'm just messing with you, Ace.
No, it's fine. So he actually went to UCLA. He was a Bruin, and so but in his time in UCLA, I think the biggest thing about him was this guy legitimately did everything. He was a kicker. He was a punter. He threw the ball. This guy did everything. He returned kicks as a quarterback. I mean, he legitimately did everything there was to do. And so I'm like, he had a fantastic career with the Rams, so you got to put him in the top 5. And then obviously number 3, Roman Gabriel. People have already talked about him. He's got to be in your top 5. I feel bad for leaving Jim Everett off the list, but
I don't embrace it.
I feel like, hey, trust me. I get what you're saying. So Roman Gabriel as a starter, 74, 39, and 6. The thing that got to me though, 6 ties, man. Like that's an astonishing number of ties, 6. But Roman Gabriel in his time, he threw for over 23,000 yards as a Ram. He threw 154 touchdowns. His career passer rating was 74.3. But yet again, that was starting to go back in the era to where passing was just starting to pick up. And so he was one of those quarterbacks that just started bringing in the passing game. And then you go to number 2, Norm Van Brocklin. He's got to be in the top 5 for everything he did for the Rams. He threw for over 16,000 yards, 118 touchdowns. And then he went 42, 20, and 3 as a starter. And the number 1 overall, it's this guy with the name of Jared Goff for what he's come and done for the number
Save
1
the franchise. He saved the franchise.
So number 1 overall obviously is Kurt Warner. You can't go any different than Kurt Warner. You have to. So my question for you guys is, when it comes to Kurt Warner, what exactly was the Rams thinking for not wanting to re-sign Kurt Warner? Like, that's crazy for what he did with the Rams, and you're like, I'm not going to bring him back. That, to me, I don't understand it. It's like J-Mac said, this guy was bagging groceries and was making $5.50 an hour, and you pull him from bagging groceries, and he comes in, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback now. He has 3 of the best passing games ever in Super Bowl history. 3.
The only thing I could think was just injuries. I mean, in his last 2 seasons, he played 7 games. That would be fine, just because you're probably a little bit uncertain. He went on to do fine with the Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just obviously continuing a Hall of Fame career over there. But, no. Other than that, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, that Kurt Warner is like the Rams, like, prodigy. It's like what's the word I'm thinking for? I don't even know. But you get what I'm saying here. It's like the guy that they built up. The Kurt Warner is like the Rams. When you think of the Rams, it's Kurt Warner.
So my final question for you guys on Kurt Warner is, in your guys' opinion, and J-Mac, I'll go ahead and I'll start with you on this one. Is Kurt Warner the best undrafted quarterback ever in the history of the NFL?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. He's the only one who's made the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, is there any other comparison? And we could sit here and talk about Super Bowl rings and championship games and stats and all you want. To me, You're the only undrafted quarterback to ever make the Hall of Fame. Is there even a second person that's close in that? I mean, in that regard, not to me.
So, Will, would you agree with that assumption that J-Mac was saying? Like, do you agree that Kurt Warner is probably the greatest undrafted quarterback of all time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're the only guy in that group to make the Hall of Fame, I think that speaks for itself. Whenever you think about undrafted quarterbacks, the only other name that even pops in my head right away is Tony Romo. Mm-hmm. And are you going to take Kurt Warner over Tony Romo? Absolutely. So it's just, I think Kurt Warner's easily. Yeah, I'm right there with J-Mac. I don't think there's a debate.
And I can see Vic shaking her head like, yes, absolutely. So
100%.
So 100%. She also agrees that Kurt Warner is the greatest undrafted quarterback of all time. All right. So that's it for our top 5 Rams quarterbacks of all time. Now, how about we jump into our second topic of the night? And this is actually another female topic. And yes, we've been trying to do this at least one topic, at least a week on the female side of things. And so this topic was, we're going to say who we believe had the most dominant single season in women's sports history. And so go ahead, and Vic, I will go ahead and I'll start with you on this one.
Well, this was tough because I'd have a bias towards Sabrina Ionescu. I really do. But I don't know if gymnastics has a season, but in 2019, Simone Biles went nutso on the world. She was the most dominant gymnast ever. She won 5 gold medals in the team competition, the individual all around, the vault, the balance beam, the floor. They gave her 25 world championship medals. 25. That's the most ever. She debuted 2 new things. She did like a double, 2-twist, backflip, scoop and shake your ice cream all over the place off of a beam. And then she did like it's like in diving, you like a triple double with like twists and flips. And I mean, I'm watching this. I'm like, no thanks, but good job. I mean, she is just mad. She's crazy good, and she's young. She is gonna dominate gymnastics for the next coming Olympics, and at least next 2 or 3 Olympics. 2019 was her year. I mean, the Olympics were canceled, unfortunately. Was it winter or summer? I don't remember. I don't care. All I care is that Simone Biles had the most dominant year, if you want to call a season a year, in gymnastics. That's what I do.
Hey, it counts. It counts. I don't care.
It counts?
It counts. It definitely counts. I don't care.
For sure.
When a gymnast becomes the first person to perform a new skill at a major competition, I mean, they name it after her. So, I mean, there are like 3 or 4 Biles moves or Biles twists and turns. So, I mean, she's transforming gymnastics, and her Uber Eats commercials with Jonathan and Ness, love them. Yes.
You know what, though? I'm glad that you threw in gymnastics, because that is often something that people overlook a lot, too, because when people talk about competition and athleticism, nobody even talks about how athletic you have to be a gymnast. Like,
oh my God, it's crazy.
That takes a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and it's overlooked a lot, and people don't talk about it enough. All right, so Will, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you, who do you think had the most dominant season ever for a female in sports history?
Okay, so last week we talked about female athletes and everything such as that, and I brought light to a collegiate pitcher named Georgina Corrick from the University of South Florida, and I'm going to stick in college softball yet again, because I might run out of breath running over these accolades that this woman had won in 2019. Not Georgina Corrick. This is Rachel Garcia from the University of California, Los Angeles. This girl is ridiculous. If you look at her track record just in 2019 alone, it is absolutely nuts. She was named to the USA softball team. She was the NFCA and the ESPN Women's National Player of the Year, the Pac-12 Player of the Year, first team All-American, first team All-Region, first team All-Pac-12, and that's just to start, okay? That's just the accolades. Now, whenever you get into a regular season at UCLA, she is a pitcher and a hitter, keep in mind. She's a dual-threat player. So on the pitching side of things, she hosted a 1.14 ERA to a 29-1 record. She struck out 286 batters to only 43 walks, held opponents to a 162 batting average, 19 complete games, 7 of them shutouts that season. Then to go to the hitting side of things, she batted .343, on-base percentage of .449, slugged .599 for an OPS of 1,048 with 11 home runs and 57 RBIs. Then, away from college sports, in Team Softball USA for the USA National Softball Team, she won a gold medal, and here are these stats. In the International Cup, she had a .353 batting average with a 0 ERA. In the Pan Am Cup, she had a .333 batting average with, guess what? Another 0 ERA. Then she went on to play in the Japan Cup. No hitting attempts, but guess what her ERA was? 0. Didn't allow a run the entire time going for a gold medal. Rachel Garcia, you are an absolute unit on the mound and in the batter's box. It is absolutely amazing. If you combine all of her year stats, her ERA is sitting around 0.6 for an entire year. That is ridiculous. The fact that you are so untouchable, that you are just ridiculous both on the mound, in the circle, and in the batter's box. It's one of the most complete years in sports that I've ever seen from a statistical standpoint. Rachel Garcia deserves respect. She's back in action this year for a redshirt senior year. Thank you for the additional fifth-year NCAA. We'll see her in 2021, and it's going to be crazy. If you get a chance to watch some UCLA softball, make sure you catch some Rachel Garcia because that girl is ridiculous.
All right, I like it. I like it. I like it. Shedding some light on some gymnastics, shedding some light on some college softball. I love it. All right, J-Mac, let's see the direction that you're going to go.
Well, again, this clarifies the season because it was in 1 year. So it was in 1988. There was a 19-year-old woman who had just made tennis history. And that 19-year-old woman was Steffi Graf. And she had the greatest season in tennis history. Not women's tennis history, tennis history. She was the first and remains the only person to ever achieve the Golden Slam. She won all 4 majors and the Olympic gold medal in the same year. So she started off by defeating Chris Evert. Everyone knows that name, that great tennis player that she was, in the Australian Open in straight sets. Didn't even drop a set in that one. She won the French Open, by overwhelming Natasha Yervara 6-0, 6-0. Didn't even drop a point in the French Open. And that's it was the first double bagel in major final history in 75 years. And then at Wimbledon, she came back from a set down to beat Martina Navratilova. She beat her. She lost the first one 7-5, but then won 6-2, 6-1. In the last major of the year, she defeated Gabriela Sabatini in 3 straight sets to win the U.S. Open and become only the 3rd female tennis player in history to win the calendar year Grand Slam. She finished off the year by defeating Sabatini in the gold medal match at the Olympics to complete the Golden Slam. She finished the year. Will, get ready to be shocked on this next one because you talked about 29-1. Now think of tennis and this next record. She finished the year with a 72-3 record. And she won 11 singles titles, including 8 straight without dropping a set.
Whoa.
Yeah, the greatest female performance of all time in a season was Steffi Graf. By the way, she ended her entire tennis career by doing another power move and married Andre Agassi, and they have kids together. Can you imagine how good those kids are going to be at tennis?
Good Lord.
Wow. Yeah, so what's kind of funny is, so you went with Steffi Graf, and that was originally the one that I was going to go with because
we can tell from your reaction, buddy.
Yeah, that was just such a dominant season. But luckily, I had one to kind of back it up in a way. But I got to go Steffi Graf because this one wasn't as dominant as Steffi Graf. So I'm sorry, J Mac. I did not think you were going to go with Steffi Graf. I honestly did not. But
yeah, that's cool.
But that was just Steffi Graf. That was a dominant season. I must say I'm a little upset that you went with Steffi Graf because that was my choice. And I thought you were
thunder.
That. Huh?
Stole your thunder.
That's all right. That's all right. But hey, at least we're shedding some light on some female sports and some perspective of that. I love it. So, of course, next week we're going to do another topic on it'll be another female topic. We'll figure out exactly what that topic will be next week. So then our next topic of the night is who we believe is going to be the most dominant pitcher going into the 2021 MLB season. So with this one, I will go ahead and I will start out with Mr. Will Polston on this one.
I am interested to see where everyone's going to go with this because obviously baseball is my number one sport. And at least whenever it comes to my fandom and everything such as that and my knowledge, I would say there's nobody close. And somebody has to take the crown away from him before I say anybody's going to be more dominant from Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom comes in every single season and just does the thing. I mean, there's no better way to put it. This guy has been an absolute workhorse, and now, at least until injuries and everything else happen, it's the Mets, let's be honest. He actually has people backing him up now. It's not something that we've seen over the last couple of years. Now he has Thor there. Now he has Stroman there. They just recently signed they just recently acquired Carlos Carrasco in a trade. And so now there's pitching depth in the Mets, and it's only going to make deGrom stronger. And now they have a more complete offense with the addition of Francisco Lindor and James McCann. His win record is only going to get better. He's going to have more run support. And this is a guy who hasn't gone above a 2.5 ERA in over 3 seasons. This is a guy who's led the MLB in strikeouts in the National League the last 2 years. This is pure dominance. I mean, strikeouts is your stat for dominance. You're not touching the ball at all. And he leads the league consecutive years. He's never had an ERA in the last 3 seasons over 2.5. I mean, it's ridiculous. No pitcher comes close. And until somebody can show me otherwise, I don't know who could take the crown. He's never even walked more than 60 batters in a season. I mean, it just comes down to an art that pitching is when Jacob deGrom's on the mound. It's just so fun to watch. Even if you're not a Mets fan, you have to tune in for his starts. I remember watching him get a Cy Young for having an ERA under 2 and having like a 9-10 record because the Mets were so bad. Now the Mets are, at least on paper, pretty good. And so it's going to be interesting to watch deGrom go another year because this man should be honestly, whenever his contract comes up, this man should be the highest paid player in baseball. He should overtake Mike Trout. He really should. It's just ridiculous, his dominance on the mound. It doesn't matter if he's even having a bad game. A bad game for Jacob deGrom is not even close to the good game of some other pitchers in the game. Every time he gives up more than 1 run, you're almost kind of shocked in a way. Jacob deGrom has to be the most dominant pitcher going into 2021. I understand great years for some pitchers last year, but last year was weird, and Jacob deGrom was right there in Cy Young talks again. So it's just that even whenever adversity is in his way, he's still right there just doing what he does. It just comes so natural to him. Jacob deGrom has to be the most dominant pitcher going into 2021.
All right. So I'll go ahead and go second on this one so people don't continue to steal my picks like usual. But so Will, I will agree with you. Jacob deGrom, very, very dominant pitcher. So the person that I would say might come the closest to him, and that's only because this pitcher's been dominant before. He's a multi-Cy Young Award winner also, and he goes by the name of Max Scherzer. And so when you look at Max Scherzer, when he and we're talking about this guy has also last year was the first year in 6 years that he's had an ERA in the threes. So and had there been a full season, I think truly that he probably would have got his ERA back down in the 2. I really think he would have. And when you're talking about walking batters, he's also another guy that usually averages walking less than 60 hitters a season, striking out over 250 batters a year too. And he's also an innings eater just like Jacob deGrom. And it's been no matter where he's gone, he's been a dominant pitcher. And what sucks is Jacob deGrom, NL East, Max Scherzer, NL East. And so every time the Atlanta Braves face these two teams, I'm like looking, going, is Scherzer pitching? Is deGrom pitching? Because those are two pitchers that I'm like, I don't want to face them because they are so good. Now, last year, his ERA was a 3.74. He went 5-4, struggled at the beginning, but you know what? In a shortened season, I can understand that. You know, and it's like you said, deGrom too. Last year, even with that shortened season, deGrom was dominant. He's always dominant too. Scherzer was like that. His ERA would have been fantastic had it been a full season. So if anybody's close to Jacob deGrom, I got to go with Scherzer. All right, so J-Mac.
Well, I'll say since you guys took the first two obvious choices, to me, I will have to go with Shane Bieber. I think that he's going to be your top pitcher. Last year, and he was just the third pitcher ever to start back-to-back starts with 13-plus strikeouts. And then you're talking about having 35 through your third start, which, again, is the third most ever for your first 3 starts of a season. I get it was a shortened season and batters probably weren't catching up at first. But he won the Cy Young Award in 2020. So it's not like he is a slouch of a pitcher. And you look at through his career now, he's struggled a couple of seasons, but he just unreal numbers as far as strikeouts. Think about that. And Shane Bieber's just one of those guys that's going to he's going to pitch good. He's going to be right there at the end of the year for the Cy Young Award. He won the pitching triple crown. Does anyone know what that is? Will probably does.
Of course I do.
Yeah. Wins, ERA, and strikeouts. He won that for the American League. I mean, it wasn't a shortened season. You're only talking 8 wins, but he had a 163 ERA and 122 strikeouts last year. And so his strikeout per 9 inning ratio was 14.19 last year. Is that an insane number or what, Will Polston?
It's
14 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The guy meant more to his team, I think, than any other pitcher you could say last year. And so I think he'll be the number 1 pitcher going into the season.
All right. So we've heard 3 great names. And of course, when you said that, I immediately saw Vic start shaking her head like, oh, man, he took another one. So I'm kind of interested to see where she's going to go on this. I do have a name in my mind that she might pick, but I want to see if this is accurate. So, Vic, go ahead and take it away.
I mean, y'all took my 1, 2, and 3 picks. I mean, seriously, you're killing me.
Who's
I'm a
going to be
believer.
the 4th best pitcher next year, Vic?
I know, right? And I think I think he may just come out because he's got a better offense to back him up now. So I think Mr. Blake Snell's going to be the most dominant guy in 2021. Tampa Bay, he didn't have much offense, and he still put up pretty decent numbers. But now he's in San Diego with Manny and Tatis Jr. and Hosmer and Will Myers. So he's got some offense to back him up now. I mean, the dude was crazy good. He's like a 3.2 career ERA, 108 games played, pitched, whatever, 556 innings. He was dominant on a team that didn't provide him much offense. So he didn't have, he had to basically keep him at 3 runs or less to even be close to getting a win. But now he's in San Diego. They can score 5-6 runs an inning, and he can come out in the 6th inning now and feel pretty secure, and maybe they can keep that lead. So my number 1, number 4 in my heart, Blake Snell for 2021. Watch it happen. It's going to happen.
So I will honestly say that kind of wasn't the route that I thought Vic was going to go. The other name that I thought that somebody was going to say was going to be Trevor Bauer, because he's like the highly sought after starter that everybody wants right now. Everyone's like, oh, I want him to sign here. I want him to sign. So it actually shocked me that people didn't go with Trevor Bauer.
Well, we only have what is it, 21 days until pitchers and catchers report to spring training.
Mm-hmm.
So he's only got 3 weeks to sign with a team before he can figure out where he's going to go do spring training at, whether it's going to be in Florida or in Arizona. So I guess we'll see. I mean, these next 3 weeks should be very interesting for baseball.
Interesting. You could throw like a Zach Greinke out there also, but I don't think he'd be one of the most dominant, but he's definitely one of the pitchers that you would want in your starting 5. No doubt. He could be an ace of a lot of staff, but probably not the most dominant. All right. So now jumping into our next topic, J-Mac, go ahead and tell us who's going to be your spotlight player.
Well, usually I pick, not heralded guys, guys that maybe fly under the radar. But I feel like this week, because we just lost him, that it's someone that we need to talk about. And Don Sutton is my pick this week.
Donnie.
He was a great pitcher, but he was also a great announcer. And, we lost him yesterday at the age of 75. They say he went peacefully in his sleep. That's what his son said. So, we can only hope for that. But just a great he's a Hall of Famer. He won 324 games. He had 58 shutouts in his career. 5 1 hitters, 10 2 hitters, and he's 7th on the baseball's all-time list with 3,574 strikeouts. He played 23 years. The Dodgers, the Astros, the Brewers, the Athletics, and the Angels. That's who he played for. Of course, he became a television sports announcer. He worked in the capacity for several teams, the majority being with the Atlanta Braves. He was put in the Hall of Fame in 1998. Can you believe it took this guy 5 ballots to get into the Hall of Fame? I mean, that's almost a travesty on its own. But he was 3.26 career ERA. There's just a lot to be said for. He pitched 17 postseason innings, and let's see what year that was. 1978. That was not his best year, however. Let me tell you that. In 17 postseason innings that year, he gave up 14 earned runs. So that was maybe a blip of a postseason for him. And Will, you brought up how good of a hitter you can be as a pitcher. Well, Don Sutton was not that guy. In his career, he was 195 for 1,354 at bats. So he posted a career 144 batting average. He did drive in 64 runs in his career. His career fielding percentage was .968, which is 15 points higher than the league average for the pitchers of his era. So, I mean, that's something that he was a very good defensive player. But yeah, he didn't hit well, but most pitchers don't. Let's face it, most pitchers don't hit well. Yeah, Don Sutton. So rest in peace, Mr. Don Sutton. Hats off to you for a great career. 324 wins, 3.29 ERA, over 3,500 strikeouts. They don't make them like that anymore, do they, Will?
Not even a little bit.
All right, that's my spotlight player.
Yeah, he was a big part of my Braves beginning in 1989 when they first started their run. Being on TBS all the time, it was awesome to he was there for the worst to first season, and I mean, sucks, man. He was awesome. He played a big part in my baseball past.
And we want to give a shout out to Kristen Hackinson for watching, also for Doug Noakes. We appreciate you guys. Doug.
Hey, Crazy Vic.
Yeah, Doug. Great man. He followed me over for my podcast. A great friend and a great guy. Thanks, man.
All right, so that was J Mac and Cheese spotlight player here. So the reason why when I sent out the topics, I said a big/little mini game is because I kind of had a few things planned here, and Will knows one of them, and Will was actually excited for that other one.
I just love that picture so much.
But
that took me like a whole 5 minutes. I'm glad it's a hit.
So the first one that we're gonna do is it's called QB or no QB. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be the first one we'll do, and then we're gonna jump into
QB
other
or
game
not to QB.
All right. QB or no QB. Okay, so with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a team name, and then you tell me whether they're going to stick with what they have on their roster or they're going to go with a different QB.
Oh, this is awesome. I literally played this game on Monday Night Sports Corner.
Oh, yeah? You did?
Yeah, literally the same exact game.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Here we go. That's the game that I told you I wanted to play with people, and I could never find time, and I finally found time. Here we go. I'm ready.
You are ready. All right. So obviously the first team that I'm going to start with, and I'm going to start with J-Mac on this one first. So J-Mac, the San Francisco 49ers, QB or no QB?
So just to clarify, QB means they're keeping their QB?
Yeah, so QB means, do you think they're going to stick with the current one they have, or do you think they're going to go in a different direction?
No QB.
So what do you think they're going to – and you can specify what you think they're going to do, if they're going to trade, if they're going to draft, or what. So you can go from there.
Oh, I mean, man, that's tough to say what they're going to do. I think they trade in the end because I think there still is some trade value for Jimmy G. Obviously not for a high-profile quarterback, but – when you have a backup, when you have a backup that has put up almost the same numbers, and he's not supposed to because he's like a 6th-round draft pick from Southern Mississippi. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to keep your job. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. They'll probably trade him away, probably for like a 4th-round pick. Some compensation, yeah, something like that for a 4th-round pick, something like that.
Yeah, take on that money though.
And then we'll go ahead and we'll go to Will on this one. The 49ers, QB or no QB?
I'm going to go with no QB for now. I don't know what exactly they would do. I don't think their guy is going to be there at 12. There's too many teams ahead of them in the draft that need a quarterback who are probably willing to reach, not to mention trading up and everything such as that. I don't think the 49ers are a team that'll trade up, because to do that, I would imagine Jimmy Garoppolo would have to be a part of that trade. And I don't know if any of those teams that need one are going to want Jimmy G. I think they could see that they were at least competitive this year with all their injuries and without Jimmy G basically 75 to 80% of the year. It's just, do you want that contract there? Do you want him to just kind of sit on the books? But then it becomes who's going to take that contract. And so I'm going to go with no QB. They're going to find some way to go away from Jimmy G. I don't know how yet, but no bold prediction there. But I'm going to say no QB.
All right, Vic, what do you got? QB or no QB?
So this isn't what I would do. This is what I think San Francisco.
Yeah, this is what you think they're going to do.
I think they're going to QB. They're going to stick with Jimmy G because they invested too much money in him. Nobody's going to take on that contract. And they're going to play it out another year with him healthy. I mean, he got him to a Super Bowl a year ago, which wasn't really him. But, I mean, he gets the praise because he's Jimmy G cute. Woo, he's so handsome. I love him so much. No. I wouldn't stick with him, but I think San Francisco's going to – they're cruising for a bruising. They're going to stick with him another year, maybe wear down that contract a little bit, and maybe possibly trade him midseason if needed. But once healthy, they're gonna give him another shot. They don't make bold moves. They don't make big here in your face. We're gonna make this trade move. I mean, they traded a lot for him. They paid a lot of money into him. They're not gonna let it go that easy.
And that's the interesting thing too, because when I look at that, I want to say no QB, but then the more I think about it, you got to think about that contract that Jimmy G has, and how many teams are going to want to pay Jimmy G that amount of money? I really don't think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to want to do it. So with that, I'm going to say no QB because of just the contract aspect of everything. So the next team I'm going to mention, and this might be kind of a difficult one too, because we're still not exactly sure. There's been rumors swirling, but still kind of up in the air about it. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with Will on this one. And so, Will, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. QB or no QB? What is going to happen?
Okay. I actually have a prediction for this one. No QB. They're going to send Matt Stafford along. They're going to send Matt Stafford for draft pick compensation to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. Okay.
Matt Stafford will be the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I can see it. Because Ben's toast.
Big Ben is toast. And not
Vic,
burnt toast.
All right, Vic. So what is your thing? QB or no QB?
I'm going to go with Will on this. I'm going to go with no QB. They're going to look for a way out of him, and I think Pittsburgh would be a great fit for him. He's finally got receivers that can catch a ball, got a little bit of a running game, got a defense that's ready to go. I think he's the next face of the Steelers. I agree with Will.
Okay. J-Mac, what do you think? QB, no QB?
Yeah, I'm with them. I think no QB. Matt Stafford, if he's smart, he will ask to get out of Detroit because
absolutely
they're going nowhere. It's going to be a wasted career if he has to spend his time there. Give him to a team that is a quarterback away from being a contender. Like send him there.
Pittsburgh.
You got Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh would be great. He walks right into a situation where they got a great defense. That'd be a great situation for Matt Stafford,
which he's never had.
Right.
All right. And you know what? I'm with you guys on that one too. I think with all the rumors swirling, I truly think that the Detroit Lions are going to be done with Stafford. I think that they want to move on to a different direction. Exactly what they do by drafting a quarterback, I don't know, because after Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, you have guys like a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson, which is that the route that they're going to go? I don't know. Probably not, but they might sign a quarterback in free agency. They might trade for one. It's so hard to know at this time. But I'm going to go with that. They're going to want a QB. All right. So the next one that I'm going to go to, and we all know that Drew Brees is going to probably retire, but he's got a man behind him. He's got two guys behind him, by Winston and Taysom Hill. So with that being said, Vic, I'm going to go ahead and start out with you on this one. Is it Saints QB or no QB?
In reference to one of the two people behind Drew Brees?
Yeah, so are they going to stick with one of them, or you think they're going to go and get somebody else? Because we're all assuming that Drew Brees is pretty much done.
Yeah, Drew Brees is toast. I'm going to say no QB. I don't think Jameis is the answer in New Orleans. I mean, I saw some stats for Tampa Bay. I think it was Shannon Sharp on Undisputed where I was watching it. And they were talking about if Jameis had thrown half the interceptions he last year, Tampa Bay had been in the Super Bowl, just based on their numbers. So, I mean, Jameis throws too many interceptions. I mean, he didn't get any passing opportunities. He was a great backup when needed, but he's not the answer in New Orleans. They're going to – I say no QB. They're going to go in search of someone. And maybe it's Deshaun Watson, or maybe it's Matthew Stafford that steps in at New Orleans. You never know.
All right, J-Mac, what do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think Jameis Winston is the answer for sure. I don't think Taysom Hill's the answer either, if I'm being completely honest. I think he's too much of a gadget player. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can get you a game or two, but he's not going to make it the whole season. It's a tough one. They'll probably end up getting a mediocre, a gap quarterback at some point in free agency, and then drafting for the future, knowing you'll get a better draft pick maybe next year, the year after. That's what I think. That's where I think they'll go.
All right, Will, what about you?
I'm going with QB. I think that Drew Brees knew what he was saying whenever he went over to Jameis, gave him a hug and said, "It's your team now." Sean Payton also said that he is very optimistic about re-signing Jameis Winston. Only a one-year deal to see what exactly he could bring. Obviously didn't get too many reps with Drew Brees being there, and then they went to Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston because, you would if you had that much money invested in Hill as well. You're not going to sit him on the bench. So it's one of those things to where, Hill can still be a gadget player. Next season, he's still under contract, but I think they're going to find a way to probably bring in Jameis back again for a one-year prove-it deal, and then it would be for a contract at that point, and then I think you see Jameis actually play pretty well under the Saints system.
All right. So now we're going to jump into the whole AFC side a little bit here. I'm going to do a few teams on the AFC side. So the first one, and this one's going to be interesting, because this one also has the rumors swirling just a little bit on this side too. So this one's interesting. I'm going to actually go with the Miami Dolphins. So J-Mac, the Miami Dolphins, are they going to go QB or no QB?
Ooh, that's tough. They couldn't make up their mind this year on what they wanted to do at quarterback. Boy. Well, I there is rumor swirling, and I heard today that Houston has said for someone to get Deshaun Watson, it's going to take 3 first-round picks and a very highly graded player. So think about that.
They're not going to.
Is Miami willing to give up that much to get Deshaun Watson? I don't know if they are. So I'll say QB for now because I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of Tua.
Okay. So because as we know, Miami said that they were willing to trade Tua in the deal to Houston, but I don't think Houston's going to want Tua, to be perfectly honest. So, Will, what do you think?
QB. The GM's not leaving. It's the same GM that drafted Tua Tagovailoa. You don't spend the number 5 overall pick. Don't give them a full season and then immediately move on from quarterback. No matter what you saw in that, they're gonna ride with them. They're not gonna jump the gun already. That's just it's way too early. The guy didn't even start half the games this season. It spent the number 5 overall pick on him in last draft. You're gonna give him a full season before you do anything like that. So,
but we've seen teams do it before. When you look at the Cardinals, when they drafted Rosen and they gave him a year in a complete crap system with a crappy coach.
Yeah, but Rosen played all those games.
Yeah, he played all those games, and it was a new coach.
Yeah,
and it was a new coach. This is the same coach, the same GM, and they didn't give him a full season.
No, and trust me, I completely agree with you. But I'm saying, though, we've seen it happen before. Because when you look at Rosen, like that situation for Rosen was kind of screwed up when you look at that.
Rosen was put in a terrible situation. Don't get me wrong. But you can't take the number 3 pick as a quarterback after you just took the number 5 pick as a quarterback. And then a quarterback, you're not going to want the quarterback that you're going to have at 23. And they're is he saying QB because I think that is too much? Yeah. QB, that is too much for the Watson deal. There's only one team I can see making the Watson deal, and it's not going to be Miami. I don't see that happening. They're going to stick with Tua next year. Tua is going to be the starter to start. Now, if he starts tanking and he's not looking good again, then you're going to be looking a little bit more at it. But you're not going to see them spend 2 top 5 picks on quarterbacks back-to-back drafts, especially whenever they just went 10-6. There's no reason right now to move on from your quarterback, especially when he didn't get a full fair season. Tua is going to be the quarterback next season.
All right, and Vic, what do you think?
I agree. QB. I mean, number 5 pick last year. They're not gonna give up that easy with the same staff in place that drafted him. I mean, there's rumors that he doesn't have support in the locker room, so maybe he's got to work on that. But I mean, yeah, QB. I don't see them making a trade for Deshaun Watson. I think he's going up. He's going up north. He's going to be a New Yorker.
A New Yorker. All right.
In a Boston accent, he's going to be a New Yorker.
I'm with you.
All right. So our last team that I'm going to touch on. So we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. No, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding.
Chad hit me all the way.
All right. So the other team I'm going to touch on in the AFC side of things, when we look at teams that can go quarterback or not go quarterback.
Hey, who I think you're going to say. Do it.
All right, Will, I want to see if you think you know where I'm going with this. So throw that team out and you think, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Who's controlling the stream?
Nate. So you're going to go with the Denver Broncos, and you would be correct with the Denver Broncos. So that's the way I was going to go. So Denver. So Will, I will let you start out on this one. What do you think Denver's going to do? Are they going to stick with Drew Lock?
No, and I have the whole entire mock draft already written down on this piece of paper on how they're going to do it. So we know T-Law is going number 1. Okay. Mm-hmm. I agree with Vic down there. The New York Jets, I don't know why they're in Boston, but the New York Jets of Jersey, speaking with a Boston accent, are going to pull that stupid trade, and they're going to pull away to get Deshaun Watson. So they're going to be content with Sam Darnold at 2. So the Houston Texans will have Sam Darnold. 2 is already going to be there with Miami. Justin Fields is going to Atlanta. Joe Burrow and Carson Wentz are going to be your quarterbacks in those 2 teams. Then Detroit is sitting at 7 with Carolina at 8 and Denver at 9. Denver's going to trade with Detroit to trade up to get that number 7 pick to skip Carolina, and they're going to take Zach Wilson out of BYU.
Interesting. And the funny thing about it is Nate is a Broncos fan. He likes Drew Lock, but he's also a BYU fan, and he likes Zach Wilson.
But he doesn't judge quarterbacks till after the 3rd year, so he's upset about the move. I've heard it multiple times. He hates it. He loves it, but he hates it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Zach Wilson.
All right, Vic, what do you think?
I agree with Will. Again, Drew Lock is not the answer in Denver. Sorry. I don't know about them. I think they might pull off some kind of weird trade. Who knows? Maybe they get a Matthew Stafford. Or maybe they get a Deshaun Watson.
I'm telling you that team would be really good with Matthew Stafford.
They got good Cortland Cortland at wide receiver. You got, Lindsey and Marvin Gordon. I don't know. Gordon dude. Gordon dude at running back.
Gordon.
Being in San Diego.
Ramsey, whatever.
Ramsey. I don't know. From New York.
So J-Mac, what do you think? Do you think Denver's QB or no QB?
No QB. Just because
Huh?
Drew Lock is from, I believe he came from Missouri,
Uh-huh.
Terrible.
Mizzou, and there's never been a good quarterback to come out of Missouri.
Chase Daniel.
Don't say it.
Sorry.
Who you got? You got Blaine Gabbert, you got Chase Daniel, and you got Drew Lock.
Hey, Drew Lock's taking the cake, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
starting job, book it.
Book it.
Terrible.
Sign him up.
It's awful.
Hey, Blaine
no.
Gabbert is at least in the NFC Championship game. Can't deny that.
What about why are you mentioning Driscoll? I mean, what?
He's saying they're going to get rid of Driscoll.
Yeah, but I'm saying why? Like,
Because they're going to draft Zach Wilson and they're going to have him compete with Drew Lock, and then it'll be a no QB because Zach Wilson will win that job.
Right?
And I'm a big Drew Lock guy. I was really excited coming into this season. I liked Drew Lock, especially the progressions he made his first season, and he just pooped the bed. I mean, he let me down.
Right.
Granted, Cortland Sutton's out, but not enough for me. He didn't look nearly as good.
All right. So that was that mini game. But now we go into the next one that I mentioned last week that I think I know Will was looking forward to. Vic, you kind of heard a little bit about what this game was going to be. So when I look on, I can almost tell that Will had a pad of paper ready, and he's like, oh, yeah. So this one is a little game that I like to call GM and draft. The GM and draft. So basically how this is going to work is we're going to go from each division on the NL side and the AL side, and you're going to pick a number between 1 and 5, and that number you pick is the team you get stuck with within that division. And you're going to get a team, and you're going to get a team in every division. That's going to be the team you have to ride with all season in that division, hoping.
Can we trade? Can we make trades?
Hoping that they win, and yeah. But I don't think anybody's going to want to trade. Well, no, that team you get, that's the team you're stuck with.
I can't trade teams?
No, you can't trade teams. But there's going to be a mini game inside the mini game.
Tough.
And so, yeah, there's going to be a mini game inside the mini game. No, it's just a mini game inside the mini game. All right. So
it's like a very, very tiny game inside of one big, small game.
Yeah. All right.
You following?
So first things first, we're going to determine who's going to go first. And all right. I think Will's the youngest here.
I am, by far. Pick me.
So Will's the youngest. So
the only one in the 20s.
Well, so since you're the youngest, do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
Ooh. I don't like this game now. I'll go first. Why not? I'll take the full pool.
So the first division that we're starting with for you is we're going to start with the NL East. So give me a number between 1 and 5.
3.
Your team is none other than the Washington Nationals.
Yes, that's the one team I didn't want. Woo!
All right. Now, even though you're a Cardinals fan, we're still going to go with the NL Central. Like, we're going to go with the NL East. So that's a kink in it. 2.
Yeah.
Guess what? You got the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah. I did.
You lucky SOB.
All right. So
they're going to lose.
All right. So he got the St. Louis Cardinals. So the next one we're going to go with, all right, Will?
2.
NL West.
2.
San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
You mother lover.
Oh, my gosh.
I know exactly how this game is. I know exactly how these teams are ranked.
But just to let you know, I didn't rank them within the way they finished in the division. I randomly did it.
Okay. I know exactly where these teams are.
All right. AL West.
4.
Your team in the AL West is the Texas Rangers.
Oh, I don't know why. I thought you said East. My bad. Shoot. shit talkie mushroom. All right, Nate, you're helping me out.
You got the Texas Rangers.
Okay, yeah, you get blind squirrels. They run into like predators every now and then. They don't always find a nut.
All right, AL East.
That's the one I wanted for.
4. All right, you got the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll take that.
Damn it.
All right, AL Central.
Ooh. 2.
You got the Detroit Tigers.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted.
Good job.
Go National League. American League sucks anyway.
Right. All right.
Head.
All right. Who's older? Is it J-Mac or Vic? Oh, I don't know.
I'm older.
All right. So J-Mac, it comes to you. So your choice is for the NL East.
Wait. Will you explain again? I think I lost something in what we were doing for a second.
All right. Well, first off, every team that you pick in each division, that's the team you get stuck with for the baseball season. That's the team that you're rooting for.
Okay.
And in that division. And
Cool.
then
Not necessarily rooting for.
Okay. And then there's another mini game inside that mini game, which I'll get to. All right.
Yep. Okay.
So we just got to get our teams first.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, let's do it.
NL East, you get the choice of 1, 2, 4, or 5.
2.
J-Mac, you are Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh my goodness.
That hurt.
I would rather trade with Will. Oh my, that was the worst one. That was the worst one. Oh man.
All right. All right. J-Mac.
I throw up in my mouth.
This is great podcast content, by the way.
NL Central, you get 1, 3, 4, or 5.
1.
7.
All right, J-Mac, your team is the Chicago Cubs.
Oh,
I hate you.
The only team worse could have been the Cardinals. Gosh.
Well, it's all right. I took care of that.
Yeah. You already took care of the Cardinals.
All right.
Good.
J-Mac, NL West, you get 1, 3, 4, or 5.
5.
No, bad. That's not good.
J-Mac gets the Colorado Rockies.
I knew it. I was already writing that down before you even said it.
All right. AL West, you get 1, 2, 3, or 5.
I'm sure as hell not picking 5. 2.
These are supposed to be randomly numbered.
Yeah, they're randomly numbered.
Yeah,
I went with 1 in the NL Central and got the Tigers, buddy.
So 2. So 2.
It's not by division, that's for sure.
J-Mac, you get the Oakland Athletics.
Hey, you got a contender. Kinda,
yeah.
Not really.
All right.
It's fine.
And then you have the AL East. You have 1, 2, 3, or 5.
3.
That's a good one.
3. J-Mac, you get the Toronto Blue Jays.
I knew it. I was writing it down. I had a feeling. I'll take it. They were my dark horse team last year.
That's the team I wanted.
All right. And then the AL Central, you get 1, 3, 4, or 5.
Who cares?
Everyone's
Tigers are taken.
Like, who cares? 5, because it doesn't matter.
So J-Mac, you get the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, I knew it. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's the AL Central.
Hey, I got nothing. Nah.
Yeah, you don't even have anything to say on that one, bro.
All right.
Twins
All right,
suck.
now,
Great.
Vic.
I'll have you know I got like one contender, the Blue Jays. That's it.
Doing pretty good.
Last but not least, so you still have a shot, okay? Your favorite team is still out there in the NL East.
And the Mets.
So your choice is 1, 4, or 5.
Ooh, and the Marlins. Aye.
Freddie Freeman is my favorite player. I'm going 5. Don't break
Number
my heart.
5.
Don't break
Vic's
my heart.
team
Don't
in
break
the
my heart.
NL East is none other than the Miami Marlins.
Mother lover!
Why wouldn't it be?
Mother lover!
Oh my goodness.
That just wrote itself. That's definitely not by standings because they got second.
Yeah, it's not by standings. That's not how I did it.
Now I'm confused.
I don't like this game.
I got the Cardinals.
Because I wanted to randomly do it so people weren't like, oh, I know what team to pick because it was by
I got
division.
my team.
All right. So NL Central, Vic, you have 3, 4, or 5.
Oh my God. 3.
Not good.
I don't care anymore. Just shoot
Not
me.
good.
So Vic,
Not the Reds.
your NL Central team
Who's even in NL Central? I don't like anybody in that league.
is going to be the
Pirates.
Give me the
Pittsburgh
Pirates. Thank you.
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh my goodness. Well, Vic, I hate to tell you, you're not going to win the NL Central picks.
No.
Is your next team going to be the Diamondbacks? I'm impressed to watch.
All right. So, Vic, NL West, you got 1 or 3
Or 5.
or 4. Well,
4. I can tell you we have the Padres and the Rockies. You have
I'm
the other,
aware of who you have. Well,
you have
I'm
the other.
aware.
you got
aware.
1, 3, or 4 left.
I was trying to help Ace.
I'm aware.
Trying to help Ace.
I'm going to give you the finger. Not the one I want to give you, but that's the one I'll take.
That's got to be the
So you
Diamondbacks.
go with number 1.
That's
Just
gotta be the
fork it
Diamondbacks.
over. Just give them to
Number
me.
1 is the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That's fantastic.
This is awesome. This is great. This
I
might
like
be
this
the
game.
worst. You might have lower records combined than some MLB teams. Like,
I don't like this game.
and you're
I don't
gonna
like
have 6 teams.
This is not a fun game. I don't like it.
All right.
I don't-
We're
All
having
right.
fun. Look at the card. We're having fun.
And when we go over Green Bay's greatest quarterbacks ever, Favre and Rodgers won't even be on my list.
We
That's how
already did
angry I
that.
am right
We're already past it. All right. So,
Well, they're still not on my list.
so now we go to the AL West. You have 1, 3, or 5.
Oh, just give me the Mariners. I don't care. Just give me the Mariners. What was the numbers again? 3?
1,
Give me number 3. Give me number 3. Do it.
Number 3, the Seattle Mariners.
You're causing my dog to have a nightmare right now. She's like barking in her sleep. She's scared to death because of the horror that you're giving me right now.
Okay. So now we're to the AL East. So
You haven't even picked an AL
so the
Central
AL
team.
East. So the AL East, you have 1, 2, or 5.
You can't get the Rangers. It can't be that bad.
No, but it could be the Orioles.
Oh, right. Yeah. It could be worse.
2. So you're 2.
That's the Yankees.
The Baltimore Orioles.
Are you making this up as you go?
No, I'm
Oh,
not. I'm
okay.
seriously. That's what
This
it is.
Statistically impossible that I'm picking the worst team in each league.
Somehow you're doing it.
It's statistically impossible. I watch numbers. I know math.
You should go to the casino another day. That's for sure.
So AL
Today's not your day.
AL Central. You have
Well, I can't
1.
get the Royals and the Tigers, so I feel pretty good right now.
Yeah, you have at least got a contender in that division.
1, 3, or 4.
4.
Oh, please be the Indians. They got rid of their whole team.
Number 4, the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, whatever. Why does she
Wow.
get to have fun in that division?
So,
What do you mean fun?
so she has 1 contender.
We're having fun.
We have 1 contender out of this whole group.
All right,
Now-
so it sounds like me and J-Mac are going to be playing this game.
So now,
Yeah.
so now that is the team for each division that you're going to be going for all year to see who finishes best. Now, the game inside the game So the game is called GM. And the reason we call it GM is because every week you get to make 2 moves. And we go division by division. So like this week, we'll start with the NL East. The NL East team you have. So if you had to make – so let's say you had to make 2 trades. What's the first trade you would start out with right now? NL East side. And J-Mac, we'll go ahead and start with you. When you're looking at your team, what's the first thing you would do?
We're going to have to give me a minute because I don't care about anybody on the Phillies. So
Hold up. Do I have to go through the entire trade, or can I just say the player I'm trading for?
You can just say the player you're trading for.
Can I
who I'm trading for?
Huh?
Well, obviously, it has to be realistic, I'd imagine.
Yes. It has to be a realistic trade. And who would you trade away if you want to throw that in there? Or what would you offer them?
Do you want me to just go? Because I've got one.
Yes, Will.
Yeah, you go to yours and come back to mine.
Okay, for Victor Robles and a group of prospects, I'm trading for the third baseman of the Chicago Cubs and Chris Bryant to join the Washington Nationals. It's already
not
been
letting
linked.
him go. So
does he have to approve this? Is that how this game goes?
no, I'm just messing with you, Will.
Okay, I was gonna say because it's already been linked. There's been talks of Washington Nationals, Chris Bryant. There's been a link. I'm going for it. They need a third baseman. They need another bat in that lineup. I'm pulling that off.
Okay, and just make sure to mark down the person you traded away and kept.
Okay.
All right.
And do I get another move, or is it just the one?
You get one more move.
I'm signing Brad Hand.
Oh, okay. All right. Vic, how about you?
I'm trading the entire roster of the Miami Marlins except for Sixto Sanchez and Brian Anderson for Mike Trout.
Nailed it.
You're trading everybody. Oh my God.
Can I trade the Miami Marlins for the Atlanta Braves? I mean, like team for team, like swap them, like where all the Braves players go to the Miami Marlins.
The Miami Marlins have Kim Ng, who's the first female general manager in sports history.
I don't care.
That's awesome.
I don't care.
Happy.
I don't care. The entire roster except for Sixto Sanchez and Brian Anderson for Mike Trout. That's my trade. Take it or leave it. I think that's a pretty good deal. Payroll's about the same.
So, J-Mac, did you look?
Yeah.
Trade Bryce Harper for a bag of beans.
Well, I'm going to trade Bryce Harper, but it's not going to be for a bag of beans.
Magic legumes.
I would trade Bryce Harper and Andrew McCutchen to Washington.
Oh,
Send him back home.
hey, this is Will's team. Okay, so this is Will. Will, this is your team. So if he trades it to you, you would have to approve that.
Well, he didn't have to approve my Chris Bryant trade, did he?
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, he has the Cubs. That's right. So he would have to approve that. Yeah.
Oh, so I can trade like within my own teams and just approve my own trades and make one power team.
I'll say I would trade Bryce Harper and Andrew McCutchen for Steven Strasburg.
No. Thanks for coming. No. No.
Will, do you have a counter offer?
No. Not for those two. No. Not for Steven Strasburg. No. I'll make my other move then, since I can't trade Chris Bryant since he has the Cubs. Unless
he approves it. Unless he approves the trade.
He ain't gonna do that. I don't even want it anymore. I'm signing Justin Turner then.
Barf.
Okay, so he made his 2 trades. All right, J Mac, what trade you doing? Trade or signing?
I'm going to trade Bryce Harper to
one of your own teams. That way you can approve it yourself.
Yeah, exactly what I'm going to do.
Load up the team.
I'm going to trade Bryce Harper to the Cubs for Chris Bryant.
1 for 1. Just why not? You know?
Why not? Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
It's like nothing changed.
I'm going to
then I will trade Andrew McCutchen for the top prospect of the Rockies organization and cash considerations.
He's just gonna bury the bad team.
He's just burying
He's like, let's just get the Rockies out of here, okay?
So yeah, so keep track of the trades that you're making here. All right.
Are these legitimate trades right now?
These are legitimate. So these are
These
trades
are
that
for real.
Yeah, these are for real trades that you would think that would actually happen.
Well, let's see here.
And if you're trying to trade them to one of their teams, they have to approve it.
I like how you guys are trading, and I just signed free agents. They're just open names that nobody's linked to, and you guys
Minnesota Twins are going to sign Trevor Bauer.
But you would have to cut somebody, though.
That's fine.
No,
yeah.
I'm a free agent.
Miami just got Trevor Bauer, so that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Minnesota.
We're talking about the NL East right now.
Oh.
NL East.
Forget that.
Okay.
Well, that's fine.
Wait, Miami Marlins are going to sign Trevor Bauer.
I was going to say, leave him on there.
And then trade him to Minnesota.
Now you're thinking.
Okay, so you're trading him to Minnesota for who?
Hold on, I gotta look at Minnesota's roster really quick.
Do it for like Jake Odorizzi.
No, it's not gonna be a pitcher. Shush.
No, I will honestly tell you, I kind of feel bad for Vic because she got like the crap into the deal with all the
She's playing with house money right now.
Oh, J.A. Happ. We're gonna trade him. We're gonna J.A. Happ.
Wow, J.A. Happ. You're like trying to kill this Marlins team.
Yes. I'm gonna sabotage them.
Correct.
What other team you trying? What other trade or free agent are you signing?
Trevor. Who's left?
If a trade to that team isn't taken, Nate, I guess the trade just isn't taken. I guess that's just what it is.
Minnesota. Okay. Who's left for free agents? I need a second.
JT Realmuto could come back to Miami.
Oh wait, hold on.
No, Marcelo Zuna. Yeah. There's Marcelo Zuna. Yeah.
Oh, son of a gun. That's a tough one. I'm gonna we're gonna sign JT Realmuto.
Oh, thank God. Good. Are we going to Central? I'm so ready.
Oh no. We're
gonna trade him to Minnesota.
We're doing one division a week.
Okay, perfect.
So you kept track of the trades that you were making?
Oh yeah. I'm ready. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pull up here on the screen really quick.
Did anybody approve my Mike Trout trade, or was that next?
The Angels are unmanned. I guess it's good.
Hold on, because
I can trade the entire Miami Marlins team except for two players, and nobody can approve it.
Because Nate said he wanted in on this action.
Oh God!
Don't you dare give him.
All right. So
Nate,
it was a
joke comment.
You got to keep the Braves of the Mets. He wins either way. I mean,
so you got to keep track of the team. So your options: NL East. Are you going 1 or are you going 4? And then whatever left, I'll take. That's fine.
Ooh.
Don't break my heart. Don't you do it.
I'll go 4.
I will freak out.
So Nate, your NL East team is the Atlanta Braves.
Nice.
Son of a mother lover.
Love that. Love that for you, Vic.
We're doing this so we can make sure every team is taken. So that way, when you make trades, somebody has to approve it. There you go.
Huge.
All right. And then NL Central, you have 4 or 5?
Both are wrong answers, by the way.
Oh, 4.
Cincinnati Reds.
And better. So how do we determine who wins this?
Just at the end, when we go so many rounds, we see who came up with the best team.
Oh, me. Duh.
Do free agents count as trades?
Yes.
So
it counts as a transaction. You get 2 transactions.
It counts as a transaction. Okay. So now we're going to go.
Bauer and Realmuto.
So we're going to go with the NL West. So NL West, Nate, you have 3 or 4?
I'll go 3.
You have the LA Dodgers.
Ooh. I can't believe I'm saying that, but
Jesus.
F. Who let Nate in on that?
Nate's like stacking up on these teams here, dude. Because I'm trying to get
I
all
hit
these
a wall once I got to the American League.
All right. So Nate, AL West, 1 or 5?
Well, Rangers and Mariners are taken, so you can't go any worse. I'm gonna go 1.
Houston.
You have the Angels.
Oh, huh.
Do you approve my Mike Trout trade? You better say yes.
So yes, sir, I'm coming for you.
All right. So you have the AL East. You have 1 or 5.
Oh, there's still a good team there too.
You're going 5? You got the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, that's not it. That wasn't the good team I was talking about. Ooh.
All right. And then you have the AL Central. You have 1 or 3?
1.
1.
White Sox.
You have the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, yeah. So Ace has got a nice group of teams.
So I've got the Mets, the Brewers, the Giants, the Astros, the Yankees, and the White Sox. So not too bad.
Could be worse.
Not too bad.
Could be
All
my
right.
team.
All
Are we
right,
trying to
so-
say, Will?
Could be
Are we
Vic.
trying to say-
Yeah.
All right.
Could be my team.
Could be Vic.
So Vic attempted to make a trade, and her trade was Mike Trout, correct?
Yeah, for the entire Miami Marlins roster.
All right,
Yeah.
Minus
Nate-
2 players.
Minus
so Nate, you have the Angels. So she wanted to make a trade, and so you have to say whether if you're going to accept the trade or not. So Vic, what's your trade?
Nate, if you accept anything for Mike Trout, you're not welcome in this. I'm taking your teams away.
It doesn't matter.
Thank you. She already signed Bauer and Real Muto. We're moving on from her.
All right, that's fine. All right, so was
She signed
there?
the 2 biggest names in free agency.
All right, so Will, did you? I couldn't remember. Did you try and make a trade, or did you sign 2 people?
I signed 2 people. I went Brad Hand and Justin Turner.
All right, and then J Mac.
J-Mac traded 2 teams within his own organization.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
right.
So I traded Bryce Harper to the Cubs for Chris Bryant and Andrew McCutchen to the Rockies for a player to be named later in cash considerations.
All right. So,
Think the
so
Phillies.
Nate,
Think
so
the
Nate,
Phillies.
we're going NL East. So your NL East team is the Atlanta Braves. So are you sticking with the current team, like with the current players you have? Or are you going to trade any of them to anybody and try and get a different player?
It's a really big name. You should just sign. Just do it. Or I'm going to take him next week. I'm giving everybody a fair warning.
Oh, I'm taking him next week.
No, you're not.
I'm calling dibs. Whoever has the worst record gets to pick first.
You're going to have the worst record forever. That's not fair.
Sucks to be you.
So no, it actually sucks to be you.
The fact that I have the Reds next week.
2 picks, Nate.
God, though. I'll just stick with it.
You're okay. So
That's
he's
what I
not.
like.
So he's not making any moves. So with the New York Mets, what I'm going to do for my first move for the New York Mets is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign a Marcelo Zuna. That is my first move. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign
Rude.
him.
As a Braves fan, that is rude that you even put him in New York pinstripes.
Hey, I'm making my team here. I'm making my team.
Barf.
Okay. And then
Barf.
and then
Barf.
what I'm going to do is I'm thinking about making a trade here because, and the reason I want to make a trade, and Noah Syndergaard is the person I'm talking about trading, and there's a reason why I want to trade him, and because he can't stay healthy. That's been a problem.
That's a way to get someone to do a trade. You can't stay healthy.
Hey, by the way, this guy can't stay on the field. Anybody want him?
But that's okay. That's okay because I think J-Mac will accept my trade. So J-Mac, I will give you Noah Syndergaard, and you give me Aaron Nola.
Ooh.
What?
Sink the Phillies. Sink the Phillies.
Don't you dare, J-Mac.
Sink the Phillies.
Thank you.
No.
I think J-Mac will accept that. Let me take your ace for a guy who hasn't stepped on a mound in 3 years.
Oh shoot! All right.
Yeah, awkward now, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, I tried to make that move. And it didn't work.
I'm gonna be wheeling and dealing in the Sports Minute chat. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Well, you know what? That's my one move. That's the move I'm going to make.
You don't move.
No, that is the one move I'm going to make this week. I'm going to sit on the NL East team this week right now. And that's the move I'm going to make. And the next week, we'll jump to the NL Central. So have your NL Central team ready and the trades you're going to want to make.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Pirates. Seriously? Come on.
Hey, that just means anything's an upgrade.
Yeah, but someone's got to accept the trade first.
There's free agents. There's tons of free agents. Anything's an upgrade.
And then I will warn you when we have 2 weeks left to make trades. And then by the end of that, we look at somebody's team and we decide who's got the best teams. And keep in mind, though, throughout the baseball seasons, these are the teams that you're going to be going for in each division. You don't really have to root for them, but if you get it right, guess what? The person whose teams do the best at the end of the season, guess what? People win this mini game.
So if currently, hypothetically, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, JT Real Muto currently a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Now Vic just signed him to the Marlins. If he signs to the Nationals, is he fine now?
No.
Ooh, this game sucks.
No, you would have to make a trade. So
here I am taking literal, actual moves that might happen, and everybody's like, "I know what I'll do. I'll sign Real Muto and Bauer to the Marlins." That's brilliant.
And then I traded him to Minnesota.
Smart. You're thinking.
Traded him to Minnesota.
I'm stacking a team. If you're going to give me all the poopy teams, I'm going to stack a team.
Everyone's going to have a God squad, and I'm going to have like the most even 6 teams ever. It's going to be great.
All right, so
you can't blame Vic. She's got to build up that one contender she's got.
Let's go, Minnesota.
I don't even know how the heck that happened. Like, she just got complete trash the whole time.
That was impressive, not gonna lie. That was the most dominant performance by a female athlete in a single season. That was impressive.
Like, I'm curious, since next week's the Central, I'm curious with what she's gonna do with the Pirates. Like, I'm really curious how she's gonna.
First, I will burn the organization to the ground.
So that makes me curious. The first move she's going to make.
I'll just sign some more free agents and trade them in Minnesota.
But
there's still going to be big names there.
It's a pattern behavior.
I forgot you traded JT to Minnesota, but who did you get in return?
Williams Astudillo. I don't know.
Nice.
Single name.
Williams Astudillo is on the mark.
Okay. Then add him to your roster on the Marlins, so you have him written down on your roster. Okay. All right.
I did.
So that is the end of the mini game for this week. So next week we'll be doing the NL Central. So be ready for your NL Central team and the trades and the free agent signings that you're going to make.
For the record, this is my worst favorite mini game.
Worst favorite.
And I think it's because of the teams that she got stuck with, to be honest.
Well, man, come on. If someone was like, you have a chance to be a major league GM and you get the Pirates and the
Mariners, the
Mariners and the Orioles. Oh, yeah, and the Orioles. Or you get to pick from these 4 teams. Pick one. I would be like, no, thank you. I don't want to be a major league GM.
Vic, I'm not going to lie. You've got some decent names on some of your teams.
I'm going to build a super team.
I might hit you up on some trades next week with the Central.
I'm building a super team in Minnesota.
And I'm going to give you some players you can send to Minnesota. I'm going to send you players into Minnesota. We're going to build a super team together. You know, you and I are going to work on this Minnesota team.
Brandon,
all right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and J-Mac, you got 30 seconds to finish whatever it is you got to say. So you got 30 seconds. Go ahead and finish it off.
Well, some good games going on in the NFL this weekend, the NFC and AFC championship games. But let's not forget that hockey is upon us, and we should be watching the NHL as well as college hoops, men's and women's. And for the first time since 1961, North Carolina, Duke, and Kentucky are all not ranked in the top 25 in men's college basketball.
I like it. All right, Mr. Will Polston, you got 30 seconds, sir.
This game is amazing. Shout out to the GMs game. If you like GMs, follow my podcast separately off of ASAP GMs for Hire on YouTube, Spotify, little shameless plug, GMS, the number 4, then Hire. You can go catch us on all social media platforms. Great listen. Break the breaking news in sports and everything such as that. So go catch us on there on all social media platforms.
All right, Vic, you got 30 seconds.
Great day. The Pac-12 and Larry Scott have agreed to part ways on June 30th. The worst commissioner ever is going to be gone at the end of June. Thank you. Also tonight, Kevin Durant rocking the green and yellow Oregon Duck high tops by Nike. What?
Too bad the Nets lost to the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
All right.
I don't like the Nets.
And then, of course, last but not least, you know what, Nate? Go ahead and give us something for the road there, buddy.
Yeah, go tell us about how Drew Lock's going to be the quarterback next year.
Actually,
Quarterback of the future.
I was going to go hockey. We actually, on Friday, get to see for the first time this season a Dallas Stars game.
Yeah,
Dallas Stars, that is true. By the way, if I can real quick, I believe that we, once the NFL season is over, we will transition to a baseball show. So stay tuned for that on the ASAP network. We are in development of an NHL show as well. So another thing to stay tuned to.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And FYI, on the Major League Baseball show, because of this horrible little game we just played, I'm going full on bias Atlanta Braves all season.
All right. So I do want to thank everybody for watching. We do have a few people out there that are excited for the whole hockey stuff going on here. And when we start our hockey show, I know they're pretty excited about that. So I just want to wish everybody a good night. Have a fantastic night. And then we will see you again on Saturday for Sports Minute. And check us out again next Wednesday, especially because that's when we're going to make our trades for the NL Central. And we'll see how we're going to turn out. So everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you again. Have a good night.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.